what happened after I said a simple prayer at 8:05 a.m. still gives me chills to this day. Not because I'm that good or that special, but because God is that amazing. So several years ago, we lived in Nebraska, and we lived out kind of on some land. It was away from the city lights. It's really nice and peaceful. So one night we were coming home, our whole family, and John was driving. And when we pulled in, we normally park our family car just in the driveway to the right, like to the very right, like on a kind of some dirt to the right of the driveway. But it had been raining really hard, and when we pulled in, that dirt was really muddy. So John parked our car just in the driveway on the right. And that will be important. So the next morning, John was going to work. He had to get up and go to work that day at like 5 a.m. or something so early. So he got up. We were all asleep, and he takes the truck to work, and the truck was parked in the garage on the left. And so John opens the garage door, is pulling out. And like I said, we lived on some land, and there was no street lights, there was no lights. It was so dark. So he's pulling out of our driveway, no backup camera. And as he gets about halfway out, he feels a crunch, feels like he had hit something, and he was like, oh, his heart dropped. So he pulls forward, and he gets out and remembers that he had parked our family car right next to where he was pulling out, and he had hit our car. And he could see the big dent in the driver's side door, and his heart just sank. He felt just immediately terrible, and he couldn't do anything about it. He needed to get to work. He didn't want to come in and wake me and do all that. So he backed out and went to work. So I wake up, didn't know what was going on, didn't know anything was going on, and got the kids ready for school, went out and saw that there was a big dent in our driver's side door. And I started like piecing it all together in my mind. It all like kind of came out in my mind that, oh my gosh, John didn't realize he had parked there. He pulled out with the truck and he hit it. And I knew that John was beating himself up. I knew that he was feeling really bad about this. And it just made my heart sink for him. I just felt so bad that I knew he was feeling bad. So I couldn't do anything right then. I had to get the kids to school. So I got in the car and dropped off the older two kids, and then took Lily to the elementary school. And she gets dropped off just a little after 8. And so I dropped her off, and as soon as I dropped her off, I just had this feeling like, you need to say a prayer for John. Like it felt like the only thing I could do to help him. I knew I couldn't call him because he was busy, and I just knew I needed to say a prayer, not just a whatever prayer. I needed to pull over. So I pulled over, and I said a prayer for him, and I just asked Heavenly Father, please help him to not feel bad, help him to have peace in his heart about this, and just to not let it ruin his day, because everything's fixable. But I just knew he was just beating himself up. So after my prayer, I went home, and that afternoon, John gets back from work, and he looks at me and he's like, you saw the dent? And I was like, I did. I'm so sorry that happened. And he's like, I'm so sorry, and apologized. And I said it was not a big deal. I just wanted to make sure he was okay. And I said, I did stop and say a prayer for you this morning because I knew that you were feeling so bad. And he stopped, and he's like, what time did you say that prayer? And I said, well, it was right after I dropped Lily off, so it was probably around 8:05 a.m. And he stopped, and he's like, Katie, I was feeling so bad, so terrible about myself, so, just guilty, and, why did I do this? And he said, in the morning, like I was at work for a few hours, and then all of a sudden, I just had this peace wash over me. I just felt like you're going to be okay. Like, it's okay. Don't worry about it. And he's like, and I let it go. I felt that peace, and I let it go. And he's like, for some reason, I looked up at the clock to see what time it was. And he's like, it was 8:05. It was right when you said that prayer. And I want you to know that God is so aware of us. Prayers work. Prayers are not just words, they are, we are talking to a God. We are talking to our God, our Heavenly Father, and He has the power to move mountains. And He will do that for us. He will help us and keep us safe and comforted, and He will help us find that peace that we're looking for. It takes praying, though. We do need to pray and ask Him, and He can do that, and He can help us. And I'm so grateful for that. That reminder that day of when John hit that car. We didn't get that car fixed, that dent fixed for a long time, and every time I looked at it, I remembered the peace and the joy and that prayers are answered. And I'm so grateful for that. And I know that your prayers will be answered as you pray and talk to God.